Alright, so before we start, I just want to say one thing. I absolutely loved Godzilla X Kong. The fights were amazing. We had a lot of them too, with like Godzilla versus Scylla, Godzilla versus Tiamat. We had, well, Godzilla versus Kong. No. Wait. And then the final battles was all awesome, and I loved Kong in this movie greatly. I loved him and Zuko. I loved his story with Scar King and all that. And it was amazing seeing Mothra again. And even the human characters, I feel, were pretty good in this movie. I forget her name, but she was pretty alright. Bernie and Trapper were amazing, and of course, Gia was a great character. I will say, I think the final fight absolutely should have been longer. I think it's probably my least favorite final fight in the MonsterVerse, but it was still pretty good. But, as you saw in the title, Godzilla needs more screen time. Godzilla absolutely needs more screen time in the MonsterVerse. Godzilla was barely in this movie, and even though the scenes that he was in were cool, like I said, the Godzilla versus Scylla fight, and the Godzilla versus Tiamat fight, and honestly, I thought it was really cool how they brought in Tiamat, a comic book monster, into the movies, so that was just amazing. And even though it's called Godzilla X Kong, him and Kong weren't even really together for that much in the movie at all. Like, I think my least favorite part about this movie is how little Godzilla is in it, which is really sad because Godzilla X Kong is a team-up movie. It's like the Avengers, and it didn't really feel like that at all. It just really felt like a Kong movie with a little bit Godzilla on the side. And like I said earlier, those stuff with Kong was amazing. Absolutely perfect. Like, I loved especially that scene with Doug and Kong. That was amazing. I just loved Kong's story with Scar King, and I loved how he was the one who killed him and how he's finally King Kong. Scar King is a living representation of everything that Kong hates. Like, he is just an anti-Kong, and I love how it's showcased throughout this movie. Like, no hate to Kong at all. I love Kong almost as much as Godzilla. I like Godzilla more, but Kong is one of my favorite characters of all time too. But this isn't a Kong movie. It's supposed to be a Godzilla and Kong movie, and it just doesn't feel like a Godzilla and Kong movie because Godzilla, yes, he is in it at the beginning and he's in it in the middle of the end. Like, he is in it throughout the movie, but he's barely in it. And it's a real shame too, because I wanted to see a lot of scenes where Godzilla and Kong were working together. Maybe Godzilla and Kong would fight some of Scar King's men together, like 20-2, and they would have just absolutely wiped the floor with them with their teamwork. And then that leads into the final fight with Scar King and Shimu. And I saw a lot of people advertise this movie as a buddy cop movie, which is a little weird because, I mean, these are kaijus. But if this was a buddy cop movie, they would be in the movie together a whole lot longer. Like, I still absolutely love this movie. I absolutely do. It's just that Godzilla needs more screen time in the MonsterVerse, and I 100% understand why he wasn't in Godzilla vs. Kong that much. Because if we're going to look at the franchise as a whole, we just saw Godzilla in the last movie before Godzilla vs. Kong. And also, there's 2 Godzilla movies and only 1 Kong movie. And it makes sense why you want Godzilla to take a backseat in Godzilla vs. Kong. Because if we're going to look at timeline-wise, we haven't seen Kong since the beginning of the timeline with Kong Skull Island. So Godzilla taking a backseat so Kong can have the spotlight makes sense because we haven't seen him in a minute. But there is absolutely no excuse for the lack of Godzilla in Godzilla X Kong. This should have been, I mean, it is a team-up movie, but sometimes it doesn't really feel like one. Like I said, it feels more like a Kong movie. It feels like Kong 2 more than Godzilla X Kong. You know, like I said, when they meet up, I absolutely love it. It's amazing. The entire movie really is just amazing. It's just that Godzilla needed to be in this movie more. And I have seen this stuff with Adam Wingard saying that Godzilla will be the main focus in the next MonsterVerse movie, which is amazing. I mean, you love to hear that. I hope it's a Godzilla solo film because I really think the next MonsterVerse movie should be solo movies. I just wanted to yap about that for a minute. That's all I've been really thinking about. Like, I really love this movie. It's just that Godzilla really needed to be in the movie more, and it's a shame. But yeah, that's it for this yap session. There's gonna be some drastic yap sessions coming soon, so look out for that. And I guess I'll see you in that one.